The modern economy wasn't built on subscriptions. For most of history, people bought things once. If you purchased a product, you owned it, and the relationship ended right there. It was a simple exchange. You paid, you received, you left. But somewhere along the way, that logic changed. Ownership became optional, and access became the new product. Today, almost everything is turning into a subscription. Music, software, storage, entertainment, tools, fitness, education, clothes, cars, even food. What once required a single decision to buy now becomes a monthly commitment. This shift isn't random. It isn't an accident. It's just the result of a system that is quietly moving toward one single goal: predictable revenue at any scale. This is the story of why subscriptions replaced ownership, and why the modern economy now completely depends on them. To understand the rise of subscriptions, you have to understand one core idea. Unpredictability is expensive. When a company sells a product once, it gets paid once. If demand slows down, revenue falls. If people delay their purchases, cash flow becomes unstable. If a product lasts too long, the next sale arrives too late. Every single year becomes a huge question mark. Subscriptions erase most of that uncertainty. They turn a random, chaotic pattern of purchases into a steady, reliable stream of income. Every month, every quarter, every year. It's not about selling more units anymore. It's about smoothing the curve. And once you smooth that curve, you unlock something far more powerful: the ability to plan for the future with accuracy. You can hire with more confidence. You can borrow with more leverage. You can invest with more certainty. You can tell investors a story they love to hear. This isn't just a product. This is a system that renews itself. A traditional business lives inside of volatility. It doesn't know how many customers will walk through the door. It doesn't know which products will sell. It doesn't know when the next economic downturn will hit. But with subscriptions, that volatility becomes math. Instead of guessing how many people will buy this next month, a company can calculate how many people will stay next month. Retention replaces speculation. The rate of people canceling or churn becomes a measurable variable you can work on. The lifetime value of a customer becomes a forecast, not just a hope. And numbers that once looked completely chaotic suddenly become predictable. This changes how companies think. They stop obsessing over single transactions and start obsessing over relationships. Not the emotional kind, but the statistical kind. There's another crucial reason subscriptions took over. They fit perfectly with human psychology. Most people prefer smaller upfront payments. Most of us choose convenience over control. We say yes to a small monthly cost much faster than we do to a large one-time bill. And most people underestimate the long-term total cost. The subscription model takes each of these tendencies and converts them into stable revenue. But it goes even deeper. Subscriptions exploit the psychology of friction. If canceling is inconvenient, people put it off. If the cost feels small, people tolerate it. If the charge is automated, people eventually stop noticing it. The subscription doesn't need you to love it. Just needs you not to resist it. That automatic renewal isn't just a feature, it's the engine driving the entire model. Digital products accelerated this transformation. A physical object wears out. It breaks. It needs to be repaired or replaced. But a digital service doesn't. So how do you keep getting paid for something that doesn't degrade? Simple. You don't sell the thing itself, you sell the connection to it. In the digital economy, the product isn't a file. It isn't a download. It isn't a one-time tool. The product is the ongoing service behind it. Updates, cloud storage, synchronization across your devices, new features, customer support, integration with other tools. When something is constantly evolving, a company can justify a constant payment. And when their service is connected to the network, they can monitor your usage in real time. How often you log in, what features you use, when you're most active, and when you start to drift away. Pricing stops being a guess. It becomes a reaction. Subscriptions are not just a payment system. They are a feedback system, one that tells companies exactly how valuable they are and how replaceable you are. As subscriptions multiplied, something subtle happened. The concept of ownership started to disappear. You no longer own your music. You stream it. You no longer own your software. You access it. You no longer own your entertainment. You borrow it for a while. You no longer own your tools. You rent the right to use them. You don't even own knowledge. You subscribe to its source. Ownership gave people control. Subscriptions give people access, but they remove that control. When you own something, you decide how and when to use it. You can keep it, modify it, resell it, or just ignore it. When you subscribe to something, the provider decides the rules. Features can change overnight. Prices can rise. Limits can suddenly appear. Your access can be paused or completely removed. The convenience is real, but so is the dependency. As this model expanded, something else emerged: bundles. Instead of subscribing to one service, you subscribe to a whole cluster of them under a single bill. Why? Because bundling reduces churn. If you're paying for many things inside one package, canceling becomes a much harder decision. You start thinking in averages. Well, even if I don't use everything in this bundle, the total price still feels like a decent deal. Bundles transform the subscription from a simple product into an entire environment. Once you're inside that environment, you tend to stay. Not because every single element is valuable to you, but because leaving means giving up too much all at once. Subscriptions also reshape our personal finances. People begin organizing their budgets around recurring payments, not individual purchases. Housing, internet, phone, entertainment, productivity tools, learning, health services. Every category adds another fixed line item to the monthly list. Your financial life stops being defined by what you decide to buy today and starts being defined by what you already committed to from the past. This changes spending patterns. It changes how we evaluate value. It changes what we consider essential versus just optional. Subscriptions create a financial ecosystem where a portion of your income is permanently reserved for systems you agreed to at some point. We no longer live in a world of occasional, big decisions. We live in a world of continuous, small obligations. And there is one more layer to this. The subscription model scales differently. A physical store is limited by space. A factory is limited by its production capacity. A distribution network is limited by distance. But a digital subscription? It scales with servers and connectivity. Adding one more user has almost zero cost. Adding 1 million more users still costs far, far less than creating 1 million physical products. This asymmetry, low additional cost, high potential revenues, the real reason this model has spread into every corner of the economy. This isn't about a trend, it's about mathematics. So, what does all this mean for the future? The subscription model is not a temporary fashion. It has become the default way of doing business. It will continue to evolve, expand, and become more personalized. Expect more categories to shift. Expect more bundles. Expect more all-in-one environments that try to lock you in. Expect systems that anticipate your needs before you even realize them, and quietly add another line to your recurring payments. The future will not be defined by what you own. It will be defined by what you are connected to. And the most powerful institutions won't be the ones selling isolated products, but the ones controlling the networks that people subscribe to without even thinking about it. This isn't just a story about payments. It's a story about how the modern economy organizes itself when stability becomes more valuable than ownership, and when turning every decision into a subscription becomes the easiest way to keep the entire system running. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, be sure to subscribe for more.